Good evening guys, this is Blender Modeling and today I got another tutorial for you. We're going to focus on image textures and getting textures on meshes. This tutorial I got my screencast enabled. I forgot to do that last time, so here we go. Thanks for the comment. First of all, I'm going to use Cycles Render. I prefer it over the Blender render, and I use my GPU compute, which is a lot faster than my CPU. You start off with the pretty standard cube scene, the new startup file, and we're going to get some nice textures on this cube to explain you how textures work. First of all, we're going to add a material to the cube. So we go new material, and then we're going to the color section, and there we click on the right side and select image texture. Here we open our file with the texture. I'm using a pretty standard landscape texture from Oblivion called Clamps. You know them. I'm going to drag a second screen into my normal view, and I select it to be an UV image editor screen. Here I'm going to select the image. I just select it for the cube, and here it is. Now I'm going to switch my cube, which is gray at this time, to get texture. Nothing will show up, and a material, nothing will do, and a render, the same. To look like this. But now I'm going to play here with a surface. First of all, I'm going to make it generated. No, that won't work. It's a single image. Okay, it's a vector currently. I can choose to display it in another way. Let's play around with it. First of all, I'm going to create a window. Then you see what I see, and if I move around, moves around with me. Zoom in, it zooms also in. So this is a texture coordinated window, which means that it displays the texture as in the way you look to it. If I go to camera, then it displays according to the camera. So I will always see the same image no matter where the cube is. Just float around with the cube. Also some other UV, nothing, normal, nothing, generated. Okay, nice on top, but nothing else. That's not the way you want to adjust it. So we're going to just remove this and make it default. It's also default when you add a new cube in your scene and a new texture to it. Then you go with tab into the edit mode. Let's make this window a little bit smaller because we don't need it now. And you see all the points of the cube are selected. Pressing A will deselect all or select them all again. If you want to unwrap, you just press A to select all points, and UV mapping. And I'll explain them all first. If you unwrap, get a pretty standard unwrap, and it will just think and pick the unwrap the program thinks is the best for you. So currently it says, hey, I'm a cube, so I'm going to display this texture on all sides, as you see here. Here in the image or UV editor, you see this orange thing moving around, plane, and it's the points I selected here. If I resize it, make it smaller, you see that the image is going with it. So if you model something and want to get a texture on one detailed thing, you can always play around with this image to let it look nice. The smart project will pick every side and put it on a new map. So you see here the sixth side of a cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the bottom 6. The one here a little bit shaded, the dot is the underside, also here gray shaded. If I press A to unselect the points, you notice they all go away. if I select only this panel, holding shift and clicking them all right, you see here this one pops up. Just get it on one clamp and scale it with S, or just select the points here using your B or your C or your other tools to get it perfectly on one. So you got one clamp on one side. Works good, don't you think? You can also select multiple just by selecting them all using the C. For this nice adding tool, just shift click, or the B to add everything in this box. And you see now I got two textures, the one I made earlier, clicked earlier, and this new. You can also select them in here, move them around here. Notice that this selection won't go with it. So now we got two shells nice on our cube. This is a pretty standard modeling type used really much. Another one is the light map pack. I will explain that in another tutorial. And active quads, it's a really interesting one. It will make a projection like. You might remember this one from when you were going to school and you have to fold a cube. You get a nice blueprint of the cube like this. And you can also use this in a way we use the smart map. Get myself a drink. So we can also select here those points and drag it along like this. Scale it up and get one clamp in. Notice that when you get off the image like this, it will just go down, continue with this part. So if I slide up, I see the clamp under it. Slide through, I get the top one again, bottom one again, and on and on and on. Oops. Let's go to the next ones. Then we got cube projection. So just project a cube on it, but notice that it will use the same image over and over and over again. Or resize it. Yeah, it will look a little bit weird. You got to do a lot of manual stuff if you use this, because it's not perfect in the way it comes out. The cylinder is of course for a cylinder. If you use it on a cube you get strange, not normal thing. Sphere, same. Projection from view, it's a very interesting one. I've been using this one quite a lot, and I got to say I kinda like it. It takes the point you look to the cube, you look from to the cube. So when I'm looking at it from this angle, I press U, project from view bounds, I get exactly the same cube over here. This can be quite helpful if you're in the top view mode and you want to get the top texture right. You just press project from view and get that one clamp in the top view. Easy as that. But notice that the other parts of the cube will remain blank. We'll get no texture with it, and the bottom part will get the same texture as the top part. But however, if you take the time to select those panels again, press U, and the same view bounds, you get also a nice image here. Notice that the difference between from view and from bounds is that when you use from view, you get it just as you look to it. It will be bigger or it will be smaller if I'm farther away. And if you use bounds, it will always fit the bounds of your image. It's very good to use your num keys for this, because when you use a num key, you make sure you get it 100% in the right place, because you're in top view mode, side view mode, in a view mode. And when you are in a view mode, you can't mistake by clicking textures and then getting it under slightly an angle. Yeah, this was it for today. In the future I will making some nice textures and images like this one, those textures. I know it's not finished. I made a nice bench, some grass, and I was trying to make a wall. The sides of the wall, I haven't really finished it yet. So watch out in the future for any more tutorials, and I hope you guys like it. Please leave comments in the description below.